I would personally never recommend to buy properties off the plan or sell properties off the plan because I personally don't believe in it. Hey guys, Eddie here from Delaney Property. Today I want to share with you why you should not buy off the plan. And I want to share with you some very crucial reasons about why I personally never bought properties off the plan, and what is buying properties off the plan, what types of properties can you buy, and just some of the key reasons why I would never do this and why I highly recommend you never buy off the plan. So I would say the first reason to jump right into it is that when you buy a property off the plan, it usually costs an incredible amount of time. So timing is number one, is the first thing I will talk about today. Now, generally if you buy a property that's, let's say, a townhouse or a house and land package or a unit, these are generally the three types of properties you can buy off the plan residential. So usually when you buy a property that's brand new and it's off the plan, what that essentially is basically the property has not been built yet, and either the developer has hired a marketer or property investment spruiker company to basically get a buyer to commit to purchase and sign a contract of sale for the proposal of buying this property, and that's currently about to be built, or it might not even be in the process of being built yet. So it's basically a developer, getting let's say a plot of land, and then if they're subdividing it into, let's say, 20 different lots, and they're basically chopping up the land and selling that land off, selling the land parcel, and then the builder that they're contracting, getting the builder to do, then the builder is basically putting the margin on to actually build the property on that plot of land. And then usually either the marketer or the property spruiker, whoever's doing this, is getting the commission, which can sometimes be between 20,000 to 100 grand in essentially in marketing costs. So there's markup. So going back to the timing, when you commit to one of these purchases, sometimes they're between 1 to 3 years away. That's a big thing. So I speak to clients every single day, and even just the other day I was speaking to clients, they committed to an off the plan purchase, which is about 18 months away, and it even got pushed further. So it was about 2 years almost that they were waiting. Now to me, with building my own property portfolio to well over 50 properties, and again, I'm only 31 years old, and I've got over 50 investment properties, and I started from nothing. So it's always been through buying existing properties. But essentially, that time frame of 1 to 3 years to wait for a property is being built, it's too long. And the bad things about it is essentially you are waiting that period of time, and many things can change in the market. So the market could go up, could go down, could be going to the side, and essentially you're committed to that purchase. So that can very often hold you up from buying other properties. So let's say if you committed to a off the plan purchase and it's 1.5 years away, then basically you generally can't buy too many properties in between that 1.5 years, right? Because you've already committed your borrowing capacity to buying a property, let's say at 600,000 off the plan. So timing is a very, it's chewing up a lot of your time, and also it's restricting what you can do in the meantime. So you can't go off and buy 2, 3, 4 properties in that period of time, because if you buy 1 or 2 or 3 properties in that time, then you might not be able to get finance for the off the plan purchase, and you can get yourself stuck, or you could be in deep trouble if you can't service when it comes time to actually settle that loan and actually physically buy the property in 1.5 years, 2 years time, whenever it is. So it restricts you from being able to build your property portfolio, and it just wastes a hell of a lot of time. I've never personally bought off the plan. I would never recommend it. I do not recommend buying brand new properties. It's basically, it sucks, it's terrible. So number one thing is time. The second thing I want to explain today is the price point. So buying a property off the plan, it's generally always overpriced. So generally they're over the medium house price. So if it's a house, let's say the medium house price in a suburb is, let's say, 400,000. Usually in the current market, you're buying a off the plan house in the same area, and it's 200,000-300,000 more than the median price. So you're buying above the median value, and you're buying above what most existing properties are selling for. So you're already at the top price point tier in that current market, which does multiple things. From a property bank valuation standpoint, you're already at the top. So if you're buying a 4-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage house, like existing ones will generally, if you're buying for, let's say, 650, existing ones will probably be selling for 450 to 500. So you're buying well above, and you're going to have to wait a considerable amount of time for the market to actually catch up. And sometimes it's 15 years, 20 years for the actual market to rise higher than that. So buying brand new properties is just horrible, and I've seen a lot of people waste their life savings. I've seen people been stuck for 10 to 15 to 20 years because they've been sold something off the plan from one of these marketing companies. As an example, we buy properties every single day, and just last week I was dealing with a client that was actually locked in to an off-plan purchase. They were buying from a property investment broker, and unfortunately they got sucked into buying a townhouse off the plan in far north of Brisbane. Now, they locked in and signed a contract for $480,000. Now, this is between Brisbane and the Sunshine Coast. That client is locked in. It's due to be finished about a year and a half away. So basically, they're buying this townhouse, which is a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1-car, in the exact same suburb, literally across the street. We picked up a 6-year-old townhouse, identical, even bigger land portion, same bedroom, same size. So they paid $470,000, $480,000. We picked one up for $320,000. So essentially, we're buying the same thing under replacement cost with a higher yield, with better capital growth prospects, and they're essentially paying an above price, because there's so much margin that has to be built into it. So you're paying overpriced, and another thing that links into this is essentially the construction costs have gone up so much. Now, right now it's October 2022, and for those of you out there that have a bit of knowledge, the past 1 to 2 years, the construction costs overall in general have gone up immensely. They've gone up so much that something that used to cost $200,000 to build now costing $350,000, $380,000 to build. So essentially, you're paying more for the property, but you're getting the same property because the construction costs have gone up so much. So another thing, it's basically raising the prices. And where I find that the best value is buying existing properties that might have previously been bought off the plan, that are 5 years, 7 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old, whatever it may be, because those properties now, especially if you pick up an urgent sale, a distress sale, a bank repo, whatever it is, if you get it under market value, you're also buying considerably under replacement cost, under what it would cost to build the same property again. Prime example again, we're picking up a house, which is a 4-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage house. We're about 35 minutes from Brisbane. We're picking that up for $460,000 right now. And in the same location, basically, in the same location, they're selling brand new properties off the plan for $770,000. So we're basically getting $300,000 under replacement cost and a bigger block of land, because the new ones, the lands are getting smaller and smaller. So that's another reason, is essentially the cost is well overpriced. Another quick example I want to run you through today is just going back to the time frame. So let's say you've committed to an off the plan purchase, you're about to. Now you've got to make, generally you got to wait about a year and a half. So I've seen people with the same scenario, same borrowing capacity, buy an existing property today that usually will settle and will be theirs within a month, then go back and get the equity out of it. So if they bought a property for $350,000, but it's worth $420,000, so they buy it $70,000 under market value. So they buy the property, settle it, go back, get the property valued at $420,000 when they only bought it for $350,000. So in that $70,000 worth of equity, you can now extract that. So you can generally take out 80%, sometimes 90% of that, go off and buy another property. Now I've seen people do that in as little as 2 months. So let's say you did do it in 3 months. You bought the property 3 months later, so 4 months in total, you took the equity out, you go on and bought another property. Essentially at that rate, in that same year and a half, you could basically buy 3 to 4 properties in the same time frame, but using the same equity amount. Whereas the person that's bought it off the plan, they're waiting literally a year and a half to do the same thing, just to buy one, which of course is going to be overpriced. So with the same equity, the same time frame, the same borrowing capacity, you could buy 3 to 4 existing properties if you have the right strategy, and that is involved with buying properties below market value, high yield, and strong capital growth as well. So that's the massive difference. You could have 3 to 4 times the amount of properties in the same time frame of a year and a half, just starting with, as an example, $60,000 to $70,000 worth of capital. Here is another word of warning. So right now throughout Australia, there's different marketing companies and property investment companies, they call themselves, which basically always push buying brand new properties. So let's explain and unpack why that they will recommend to buy brand new properties. And for one reason is that there's more margin in there. So let's say a property buyer's agent like myself will generally, the average cost for a property buyer's agent now in Australia is about $15,000. Some go up to about $20,000, but the average cost to purchase one property through a very experienced property buyer's agent is about $15,000 for each property. Now, if a company was, instead of being a buyer's agent or helping people buy existing properties, if they wanted to sell things brand new, then essentially you can make up to $30,000 to $50,000 per property deal. So as an example, guys, like I've been helping people buy investment properties for the past 4, 5, 6 years, who knows? And I've been buying properties since the age of 18. I'm now 31. And I've bought thousands of properties over the years for clients, and I have a portfolio of over 50 properties myself. Now, if I was, I say this to people all the time, if it was just about making money from a business perspective, then anyone in their right mind would just sell properties brand new off the plan to people because they're making $30,000 to $50,000 per property deal. So if I, as an example, just sold properties off the plan to people, instead of a normal buyer's agent fee, which the Australian standard is about 15K per property, it would be 30 to 50,000, sometimes even more than that. But I truly believe that buying property off the plan 99% of the time is just a terrible mistake, and I would never buy properties off the plan myself. So therefore, I do not believe in selling people properties off the plan, because I personally don't believe in it, and I believe it's overall a lot of the times unethical to sell someone a property that is tremendously overpriced, that has massive margins in there, etc. So when you see different property investment companies out there, there's many that I can name right now, but I don't want I shouldn't do that. But basically, they're out. I would steer clear of them. It's very, very dangerous to buy properties off the plan, especially from these property investment, marketing companies that are out there. So only buy existing, and you will do tremendously better than buying properties brand new off the plan. So if you want more information, click on the link below. If you're watching this on the YouTube channel, please subscribe. Please subscribe the button. Hit the subscribe button right now. It'd be greatly appreciated. We'll keep the videos coming and more information coming your way. So thanks so much, and I'll chat to you soon. Bye.